So this is iPad for beginners. We kind of look at this as sort of like a conference where if you get what you need and you've seen everything you need to see for today, don't think you need to stay for the entire thing. I know we have a lot on our plate to do. So if you see something, hang in there, learn a little bit more. It's not going to hurt you to keep it up as we work. But let's go ahead and get it going. So we're going to answer these questions. Is the iPad enough? How do I get apps for me to complete my lesson planning? What app should I install? How do I log into ClassLink? We're going to hit that one almost right off the bat. How do I record lessons for my kids? That's going to be a huge one. And I have that one. If you notice, it's a different color. It's blue. That's a link that will take you to the instructions on how to do a screen recording with your iPad. And I'll talk a little bit about that when we get there. And then as we go and at the very end, we'll answer any questions you might have. And I usually hang on onto the chat for about 15 minutes afterwards, just in case there's some other things you have to ask. Much of what we do will be live, and we will work together. So remember, these sessions are being recorded. So if you feel like you missed something, you'll always be able to go back and take a look at it again. So our goals for today are very simple. So at the end of this session, you'll be able to understand the following about iPads: how you can access your content to teach, how teachers record lessons with their iPads, and how you can find apps to help deliver their content. You'll be able to answer all three of those. And so on that note, it's time to go live. So I'm going to take my ugly mug away so that way you guys can see the iPad and being able really to see what's going on with everything. So let me get the iPad all set up, ready to go. All right, so don't mind all the stuff that I have on my desktop. I'm using an iPad Pro, which is what the coaches use, the tech coaches. So I have a lot more space and a lot more things, but I'll be able to bring up what we have going on right here, and it'll be a little bit easier for you to see. Every single teacher iPad in the district has what we call self-service. Self-service is a place that allows the district to send apps to you guys for use. If there are apps that the district says, hey, these are really great to use in the classroom. For example, you'll see Benchmark Universe Library. Notice it says library. ClassLink. Let's see here, what else? Apple Clips. Flipgrid, Google Chrome, Google Classroom, Google Drive, Google Sheets, Hangouts, Notability if you have it. I don't think you guys will have that one. Zoom, all the stuff that you guys might need for you guys to be able to work with your kids. So the answer to the first question is the iPad enough? It's enough. Is it the perfect thing to do? No. And you know what? Neither is a desktop. A desktop and an iPad would be the most optimal. So if you have a desktop at home, that's awesome. That means you're a little bit ahead of the curve. But if you only have the iPad, you'll be fine. It's just a matter of getting to where you need to be and using the apps as you go. So I know a lot of questions are going to be, how in the world did you do stuff inside Zoom? That's not for today. I'm teaching, I believe, on Thursday. Just off the top of my head, I believe that's the day. I'll be teaching Zoom and Google Meet, and I'll teach you how to do all that stuff. So don't worry about what we're doing right now. Right now, it's more of how do I use the iPad to get to my kids, not about Zoom. So you can see that I have a lot of these apps already installed because mine say reinstall, but for you, it'll probably say install. So a few of the apps we're going to go over, I'm going to give you guys about a minute to hit the install button, is we're going to take a look at ClassLink. So ClassLink's right here in the top row on the very far right. It says ClassLink Launchpad. Go ahead and install that one. To install, all you need to do is click that button and it'll tell you, are you ready to install, and say yes. The other one we're going to look at is is Apple Clips. I keep saying that. So again, you're going to hit install, and then you'll go ahead and install it. We're going to take a look at Google Classroom and Google Drive. So those are going to be the main ones that we look at. I don't see anything else that we're going to look at right now. So go ahead and take about 30 seconds to do that. If you have a question as we work, we will get there as well, and you can ask those questions. How did I get to self-service? So on my iPad, it's right here on the desktop. It's right there. It's the one with the, looks like a dice with green, blue, yellow, and red coloring on it. If you want to find it, anywhere on your iPad, swipe down and type in self-service. And you'll see it pop up as one of your applications. You can just click it. So I'll give you guys about 30 seconds. Hopefully that answered your question about where I found that. But if you're using a district iPad, a district teacher iPad, those are the things that you will see. And I don't see anybody with their hand up. All right, Kate, let me show you again. So if anywhere on the desktop, so if I, like right now, I've got my finger between my ring and self-service, I'm just going to swipe down. I already have typed in self, but if I didn't, self, I'm going to click on self-service. And then now, let's say I want to install, let me find something I don't have installed. Benchmark Universe, I'll click on it. It'll run the circle round and round. And when it's ready, it'll say, okay, we're installing. So now you can tell it went to install. So Christina, you're going to install ClassLink. You're going to install Clips, Google Classroom, and Google Drive. Those are the 4 we're going to look at. And it looks like I've got a hand up. Let me see whose hand went up. There we go. All right, Marjorie, I'm going to unmute you. What's your question? Oh, where did Marjorie go? She had a question. Do me a favor, put your hand back up, because I think it automatically took it down for you. All right, go for it, Marjorie. Sorry about that.
Okay, my question is, how do we go to where you're telling us to go without losing what we're, well, I'm on my iPad doing this, so I don't know how to.
That's a good question. So if you hit the home button, it will take you back to your desktop. You're not going to lose anything.
I'm not going to lose you?
No, you won't lose me. It'll just minimize it, and you'll still be able to work.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see here. There we go. So you're going back to the chat. I just want to see what. Let me do this. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take off my iPad now that the other iPad is done. All right. So this is a brand new teacher iPad. So you're not missing. This is exactly what most of you would have. So you can see that self-service is there. So at any time, if I want to, no matter what it is, if I want to go back to something, I'm just going to hit that home button, and it'll minimize it when I'm ready to go back. Like for self-service, whether it's self-service or Zoom, it'll go back. So let's see here. Shake, I'm not real sure what you mean by how do I install this on my iPad. Let's see here. So for example, I'm going to install ClassLink. I'm going to go ahead and reinstall it because I don't think I deleted it. Actually, let me refresh this. Let's see, I'm going to reinstall Clips. There we go. And then we need to reinstall Classroom and Drive. The reason for me it says reinstall on this iPad is that I've already used it this morning, so it's already recognized that I've downloaded it. Let's see here. How does your iPad get disabled? It gets disabled when the district deems it out of its district. So it lost. That's usually how it gets disabled, or you've put in a password too many times and the iPad will lock down. Jacqueline, I clicked on the icons, but it keeps telling me to reinstall. Perfect. When you go back to the home room, you'll see, like on mine, as soon as it catches up, because I'm installing all these at once, you'll see that they're loading just like this. Evelyn, we're downloading ClassLink, Clips, Google Classroom, and Google Drive. Let's see here. Cindy, I installed ClassLink and Clips, but Google Classroom just goes back to install. Just hang there for a little bit. We'll try to let your iPad catch up. I'm on my personal iPad Pro. Yeah, just follow along, Jackie, because you'll need your school iPad to do most of what we do. Brad, what do we need to have up on the iPad? I got it. Never mind. I should have read the rest of the questions. Sorry, Brad. All right, so these are still uploading, or installing, I should say. This is usually the part that takes the longest on the with what we're doing. So, especially with me at home, I've got my two boys both on Zoom as well with their teachers, and then I'm on Zoom, and I've got the iPads on, and I'm sure someone's got music playing somewhere in my house. I'm sure I'm just like zapping everything. All right, there we go. So I'm going to start with ClassLink. So, and now I can't remember who it was. Let me pull up the chat one more time. So, Jackie, on the iPad Pro, you can still install ClassLink, but you'll have to do it from the App Store, not through self-service. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go to ClassLink. ClassLink is just like what we use at school. The reason you want it on your iPad is that with Benchmark and any of the other programs, Benchmark, StudySync, I'm blanking on what other apps we have going through there. All of our passwords are already there. We don't have to worry about clicking through or remembering a password or did I write it down somewhere. If you've been using ClassLink to this point, everything is all ready to go. So for the first time, if you've never logged into ClassLink before, you're going to log in with your Active Directory. So remember, that's the first part of your email address before the @palmdalesd.org, and then your password. So basically, whatever you use to log on to your desktop or Promethean in your classroom. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and log in. Probably spell my own name correctly. That would help. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in my password. Don't tell anybody. And I'm going to be in. Now, if you already have your Google account linked up to it, you can sign in with Google. And I don't know if I have my Google account on here. And if I don't, I'll take it off or I'll use it. Yep, I already have it on there. So I'm going to pick me. And it'll log me in directly. Now, for example, if I want to go directly into Benchmark, I have my ClassLink in folders, so don't think yours will look like this. I went to Curricular, and now I'm going to go ahead and click on Benchmark Universe. There we go. And it's going to do exactly what it would do for you in the classroom. It's going to bypass everything. Now, keep in mind, Benchmark is probably going to be bogged down for a good week or two. You got to figure that every district that uses Benchmark is doing the exact same thing we are. So now I'm in Benchmark. I can do everything that I normally would. I can come in, I can look at Benchmark, I can look at my, there we go. I can look at my whatever unit I'm in. I can look at all the assignments. It's exactly the same. Now, here's the other reason why you want to go through ClassLink and not through the web browser. Number one, your password's saved. And number two, anything that attaches to your browser cannot be used on the iPad. So it's really difficult for you to do a lot of things that you normally would do on a browser. ClassLink allows a lot of that to happen. And you'll see that when we start talking about the Google. because the Google things, even though that the Google Drive and the Google Classroom is in ClassLink, it wants to take it to the website, not the app. On the iPad, you want to go to the app. So everything that's on here, I have all my passwords saved. I've got Infinite Campus and Frontline. I've got Clever. I've got anything you might need. So that's going to be really important over the next 4 or 5 weeks, is being able to use ClassLink to your advantage. Are there any questions on ClassLink? So understand we use ClassLink to access the programs that we normally would access through the website, but we will use the apps that we can download from self-service when it's necessary. All right. So one more chance for any questions. Anybody wants to raise their hand, go for it. Otherwise, I'm going to move on. And I'll be back here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just minimize it. Let's see. All right, Marjorie, you got another question. Go for it.
Yeah, if it says reinstall, doesn't that mean it's already installed on our computer? We don't.
Correct. Absolutely. So again, if you like, I'm going to take my my finger, I'm going to put it in between Classroom and Drive on my desktop and swipe down. Do a search for ClassLink and see if it pops up under Applications. If it pops up under Applications, it's on your iPad. Did you find it on there?
Did I find ClassLink?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to install it.
Awesome. Perfect.
And Benchmark as well?
Yeah, and well, Benchmark you would access through ClassLink.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, don't, because the difference is that the library that's inside of self-service is only the book library. So it's all the individual readers for the students, all the leveled readers, which they have access to every single one anyway through Benchmark. So that's the only difference between the apps.
Okay, so I clicked on ClassLink Launchpad. Okay. It says reinstall. Yeah,
it means it's probably somewhere on your iPad. It's just a matter of finding it.
Okay.
All right. Let's see here. Holly, you got a question. Go for it.
What was that? Oh, will the students have to download the app for ClassLink on their iPads? If they don't have it at home, what will they do?
Well, well, first of all, they're probably not getting iPads at home. They're probably only going to get the Chromebooks.
No, I meant their own device. What they have at their house that's their own.
Right. Yeah. So on their own devices, yes, they would have to go into the App Store and get the ClassLink app. Absolutely.
Okay. I noticed in yours, your other one, in your ClassLink page, that you have ClassLink and you have like 4 apps for ClassLink. So when the students download this, is there a specific one?
No. So what I have is that's why I said don't worry about all the folders, because I have admin rights. And so everything in my ClassLink where you see all those in there, those are all admin apps that I use. Okay. So don't worry about that at all.
So when they go on any kind of app store, Google Play or whatever, they're just looking for a regular ClassLink.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. And then let's see, we've got a couple of questions in the chat. Yeah, I don't know what, we're going to have to figure that one out for you guys, because that's all. It's the case for coaches. It's the case for LSTs. Shoot me an email, Win, and I'll send you the long-term substitute login. Brad, once ClassLink is installed, isn't Classroom and all the others? No. ClassLink is just a pass-through to those apps. So, for example, in ClassLink, in order for a student to go from ClassLink into, say, Google Classroom or their Google Drive, they need to have their Google account attached. And that's a whole nother process. I had made a video back in September, and I believe it's still on our EdTech website. I'll show you where all that is. That shows the students how to activate their account and attach the Google account. But that's why for you guys though on the iPad, I would use the app. And just because ClassLink is there does not mean that the app is there as well. Alan, is there any Eureka Engage New York apps in ClassLink? The closest thing would be, let's see here, I think I have it on here, is Embark. You can see that in the bottom left. And I believe I've got Eureka's Great Minds on here. If you go to the search at the top and you type in what you're looking for, so there's Great Minds. And if you are, unfortunately, if you want to add any apps, well, let me see, if I hit the plus sign, I should be able to find the app library. There we go. Here's where you would find anything else for Eureka. So these are all the stuff that PSD has said these are important. Kate, I'm not sure what's going on. I'd have to see. And Chris just popped in and said that she added Eureka Math. That has a link to a great news site. So that should update pretty quickly from her. All right, moving on. Oh, and so it's in the teacher library, she said. So make sure for the teacher library, you'll see, let's see here. Let me see all. There's Eureka Math Resources, so you can just turn that on. I think that's the one she's talking about. And so just turning it on allows it to be put onto your desktop. And so now it should be there in the very end. So that's the new one that just came out literally today, this afternoon. All right. So the reason that ClassLink is important is to make sure we're getting into those sites that we need username and passwords to. For the ones that we can use directly with our iPad, which would be something like Google Drive. So the reason we want to use Google Drive is that Google Drive allows us to have access to all of our stuff immediately on our iPad. So I'm already signed in. The first time you go in, it's probably going to have you log in for the first time. Again, I was trying to make sure that I could make it as clean as possible, but it already recognizes I've been in once. So I'm not going to go into big detail on Google Drive because that's really a Google thing. That's something that one of us coaches can do during our office time. All you have to do is shoot us an email and we'll set you up. But if I hit the three lines up at the top left, there's your recent, anything you've starred, anything you might have thrown away in the trash. Down on the bottom, we've got here are all your files. And I've got a lot of them, so it takes a little bit to load. You also have the people icons down at the bottom. You have those are the shared files. So just like on your desktop or on your Promethean, you have the exact same possibility as you normally would with the iPad. So keep that in mind. And that also means that with Google Classroom, you have that same ability. And so this is going to be, again, this is going to take me a little bit because I've had a lot of people share their classrooms with me over the last few days here. But once you go in and get logged in, it'll automatically log you in. Like I said, it goes round and round. So ClassLink we use for those web-dependent apps like StudySync, like Benchmark, all of those. For the ones that we can have apps for, the iPad is made directly for those. Those apps are made directly for the iPad, excuse me. So we want to make sure that Google Classroom, Google Drive, any of the Google apps you want to put in there, you have Docs in there, you've got Sheets, Slides, you can put all those in there. Google Meet will be a good one because I bet a lot of your admins are using Google Meet, or you may end up using it with your kids. Those are all available in self-service. So self-service is where you find most of these. ClassLink is the one you want to download, or if you haven't already, that's where you can find all your password information, where you can use the pass-through. Google Classroom is the big one, so you can communicate and set up your kids with their assignments, and Google Drive, so you can interact with your docs as well. And then after today, after our meeting today, then I would go ahead and put in docs, slides, and if you want to, sheets. Not a whole lot of you are probably using sheets. Now with Hapara, it's a little bit different because Hapara, let's see here, I think I have a Hapara in here. Let me double check. Yeah, there we go. That's one you're going to want to use through ClassLink as well. So when you click on the Hapara link, and I believe that's in there in the teacher resources as well. And I'm going to pause my screen here so you guys don't get to see my password. Sorry, guys. There we go. And me authenticate. All right. You'll be able to see that using ClassLink will allow you to get into Hapara on your iPad. If you haven't had a chance to watch or attend Melissa's Hapara class for beginners, that's a great place to start. I would say, and if this is just me, for third and up, if you want to use Hapara, that would be a good thing to use. Second and lower, probably not, most likely not. The reason I like Hapara just for the upper grades is it makes I can just quickly send out into groups some of the assignments. But again, a lot of people use Hapara for the highlights, being able to monitor. You won't be able to monitor your kids through highlights, so don't even try. The Chromebooks or any devices outside of our district, if they're not part of our district network, they will not recognize. So don't worry about that at all. And besides, to be honest, I don't want to know what the kids are doing at home. That's up to their parents. I don't want that responsibility. So that's why ClassLink is really, really, really important. All right, so let's take a look at, I'm going to put my presentation up next to this one just so we can take a look at where we are in our objectives. Let me go back a page. There we go. So is the iPad enough? Yes, it is. Is it the perfect setup? Absolutely not. But we understand that. We just have to make do with what we have. And really the iPads do a great job at what you're going to be doing over the next 5-6 weeks. How do I get apps for me to complete my lesson planning is going to be the next one that we look at. But for the most part, you've got Google Classroom and you've got Google Drive. You've got access through ClassLink to all of your apps like Benchmark, Eureka, Study Sync, Big Ideas. All that is in ClassLink. What apps should I install? Those are the major ones that we talked about, which was Google Classroom, Google Drive, Clips, which I'll talk about here in a little bit, and ClassLink. The next things we're going to look at is how do I record lessons for my kids? So to take a look at the learning objectives, how do teachers access their content to teach? We access it through ClassLink. Google Classroom are the two main places. How do teachers record their lessons is what we're going to look at next. Excuse me. So with the iPads, they have the ability to write on their devices. And let me pull the iPad back up. And there's going to be one more app that we're going to download. The app in self-service that we're going to download is all the way down at the bottom. It's called Show Me. Again, I already have it, so it's going to ask me to reinstall it. But the reason I like Show Me is that you can not only record what you're writing on your iPad, but you can also record your voice as you're writing. So it's almost like you're going live. So it's installing right now. There is an account aspect to this, and when I say account, means signing up. The reason I would say is go ahead and sign up, but choose the free version. You get 5 videos free. And there's ways that you can manipulate it to where you can really use it effectively. And if you want to know more about that, let me know. And during one of my office times, we can really take a look at the Show Me app. But what I really like about Show Me, and again, I'm just going to use my fingers, when it is time to make a Show Me, this is what it is. Up at the very top, right there, is a record button. I can't record because I want to record as I'm putting it up on the screen right now. But I would hit that button and I can start recording. So I can write, I can erase everything, I can bring in pictures. So if I have a photo that I've already used, I don't have any photos in there, but I'll take a photo. Let's see. I'll take a photo of my iPad and I'll use that. I can use that annotation on PDFs or whatever it is I want to take a picture of. That's the beauty of this. And if I was able to hit the record button, it would actually record me live as I was working. It really is a slick app. And you can also do multiple pages. So that'd be page 1, then you move on to page 2. When you're done, you can discard it, say I don't want it anymore, save and upload. If you want to go live with this on Zoom, you could, and just don't record. Use Zoom to record. Save and upload or save as a draft. I'm going to go ahead and discard that. Again, using my finger, just real easy to go through. These are all the different, there's also lessons on here you can pull from, including some Eureka stuff. I don't know that I would go that far. I just worry about your stuff. On top of that, you have the integrated notes app. And you'll probably be able to see a writing I've already started that I did with the last group. But if you look down on the very bottom left of my screen here, you'll see the pen icon. So the very first one is a marker. So I'll make it nice and dark so you can see the new stuff. There's the new stuff. And this is all integrated within the iPad. I don't have to do anything special like download Show Me. The second one is a highlighter. I don't like that one. Let me pick a different color. I'll go red. There's my red highlighting. I can use a pencil. You can see it's a little bit smaller. And then I have an eraser. There we go. If I want to move things, I can lasso it and I can move it. So even the Notes app is a really slick app as well. I really like it, especially if you don't want to worry about the Show Me and having to sign up for an account. So just a really cool app. So to go back to let me go back to my presentation. How are teachers recording lessons? Use Show Me or use the notes like I am right now in conjunction with another app, which I kind of talked about earlier. Let me go backwards, sorry, is how to record lessons for my kids. So if you notice, I can't, for the life of me, because I'm probably streaming, record as I do this. The iPad automatically shuts down. But if I'm at home and I don't have anything streaming, it's just me and the iPad, and I'm using notes, there's a spot on the iPad called the control panel. So let me get the control panel going side to side here, or the iPad going side to side here. So you should be able to see both right about now, I hope. If not, you'll be able to see the iPad. When I swipe down, this is Control Center. The Control Center allows me to start apps quickly. So you see the first one here that I'm holding, that's a timer. If I press and hold on the clock, it's an alarm clock. The third one is the Notes app. The fourth one is the camera. I don't want to pull that one up because then it would start taking pictures. And then the last one is the screen recording. Now, screen recording is not natively in there. You've got to install that. So if I go to settings, and I'm going to go through this one more time with you guys. Under Control Center, Customize Controls, you will have it look like this, where screen recording is all the way down here at the bottom. So from the very bottom, I have voice memos, text size, stopwatch, screen recording. What I'm going to want to do is add that screen recording so it moves it up to the top. The ones at the top are the ones I just showed you. So when I swipe down, this last one all by itself is the one that we want to use. Now, after you start it, that's when you want to start using the instructions from the link that I showed you earlier. Again, it's a really, really slick app. So I'm going to pause there for a second because I know I just gave you a ton of information. So I'm going to go kind of rewind. So let's see here. From Holly, everything I click on is now listed in the open apps section. How do I close these apps? So I'm assuming you're talking about in ClassLink. So in ClassLink, so while everyone gets caught up, I think I've got ClassLink closed. If you close ClassLink, it will automatically close them all. However, let me get logged back in here real quick. There we go. Sorry, everything's sort of running really, really slowly. Nope, just dropped off. See? Again, it's going to be messy. It's okay, guys. So Ollie, I can either close out ClassLink, or let me open up something. I'll open up Remind. So let's say I'm done with Remind, and it shows that there's one in that top corner. When I click that one, I want to edit and hit the X, and now it'll be closed. So I'm no longer in Remind. And then from here, you can just swipe up to close it. So I hope that answered your question. Let's see here. I lost your face on my screen. Hopefully it'll come back. Double click on that home button and then find Zoom. Hopefully it'll come back. If you can still hear me, that's a good thing. Holly, why does my Google Classroom app have a little rocket on it? Let's see here. Depends. Are you in ClassLink would be my first question. Let me see. If it's in ClassLink, which is what I'm thinking, that means we want to be out of ClassLink to open Classroom. Slowly but surely. There we go. You sure it's a rocket ship and not a key? Maybe I'll ask that question. Let's see here. If using Show Me, how do I send my pre-made videos to my class? Let me know, and we'll sit down during one of my open office times. We'll take a look, and I'll show you how to do it. From Evelyn, for Show Me, we have to create an account then. Yeah, pretty much, but it's a free account. Just don't pay for anything. Let's see here. Thank you, Brad. I hope it is a little brilliant. I can't take credit for the whole thing. Let's see here. If it's a rocket, the Google Meet app, I'm not sure why it would be a rocket because that's a little bit different. Let me go into self-service. I haven't loaded Google Meet yet. So I'm not quite sure why it would be a rocket. Are you in ClassLink when you're looking at that? That might help me as well. I don't think I've got Meet on here. Let me see if I can add it real quick. Let's see here. Usually if it has a rocket, it means it's going to take you out of ClassLink some way, somehow. Let's see here. For Show Me, we can cut and paste pre-made questions or problems. Yes. What I would do is I would actually use the camera function and just zoom in on the question you want to use. Let's see here. Let me turn on Meet. Oops. And let me go back to the home page. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure why it would be a rocket, Holly. That's I can't answer that. All right. Any other questions? Hopefully you guys are caught up. Like I said, I know it's a lot of stuff in a small amount of time. But don't forget, we also have the open office hours that you guys can come in, ask questions, and get some clarification. And we'd be more than happy to do that. Google Meeting app is called Google Duo. No, it's not. It's Google Meet. Holly, I don't want to say yes, but it might just be. No, I think it's just with a lot of people on, We're just seeing different things. That happens, I think, quite often with these types of things. So sometimes programs react differently than what we normally see. And I'm not sure what Google Duo is, Ms. Reyes or Mr. Reyes. All I see is ML, sorry. All right, so let's take a look at, let me bring myself back on. I'm gonna be selfish for a second and put me on. There we go. So going back to the presentation, I'm not gonna bring it up again, but how do I record lessons for my kids? Use the screen recording or use something like Show Me to record your lessons. And really, they're really slick apps. How teachers access their content, ClassLink, Classroom, Drive. How do you record lessons? Show Me and the screen recorder. And how can you find apps to help deliver your content? We said all those. The other one that you can use also is going into the App Store. I'll show you that here in a second. Let's see here. Holly has a question. Let me pull Holly up again. All right, Holly, go for it.
Okay, I went into my notes app to try and follow you because you went really fast through notes.
I know, I'm sorry.
I don't have markers. I only have a keyboard.
So if you don't have marker, then what I would highly suggest is that you need to update your iPad.
Okay. And that notes app, that's not in ClassLink, right? It's the regular one on the
Notes is a completely native app to the iPad.
Okay.
So it's specific to the iPad, so it's pretty cool.
Thank you.
But definitely. So let me pull up the iPad one more time. Which is a way I can keep it up all the time and have both of us on there. There we go. So on the settings part, to update, you'll go to General, and then you'll see Software Update. Mine literally updated in the middle of me starting up with you guys. So mine is up to date, but that's how you would check for your updates. And there'll usually be there's one update, two updates, and I would totally turn on automatic updates. I thought I had it off, but I didn't have it off until it was too late. So hopefully that'll help you out, Holly.
Okay, I thought I had it on too, but it didn't. It wasn't on there. So thank you.
Yeah, and sometimes we get it between us going home and back. It will get stuck in where it wants to update, and it just won't. So we've got to make sure we push those through. And for everybody, I would also say make sure you're updating your iPad as often as you see updates come out, because it gives you security updates, it gives you feature updates. Like the Note app, it's a big deal. All right. Let me pull back up my presentation again and see what else we have to go over, because I think we're about done. We're running about an hour, which is perfect. I wanted to give you guys time at the very end. Some things that you guys need to know. If at any time you're having some actual tech issues, don't go to Steve, myself, Jerry, or Melissa. Call the phone number at the tech hotline. That's at the district office. You'll get an actual tech who can figure out what's going on. The content side, we would love to help you on. That's what we want to do. But if something's not working, like you're trying to get on your Wi-Fi and it's just not working, or you're trying to put in your password for ClassLink and it's just not working, that's where you want to start. Some websites that we have on here as well. We've got, and if that will stop jumping on me, the Learning at Home website, which is what Steve, myself, and the girls put together for our teachers and for our students at home to keep themselves busy while they were gone. That is a great website to take a look at. And let me answer a couple questions here before I go to the next link. If you were to link your iPad to a laptop or desktop, what cabling would you have to buy? You would need a lightning port to, it just depends on your laptop. It could be a lightning port to HDMI or lightning port to a monitor connection. Can we refer students and parents to this number? Yes. It's for staff, students, and parents. And yes, I'm going to get to Clips here in a second. Absolutely. It's my favorite app. PSD EdTech and Clips is sort of my little carrot that I like to use. When you guys are ready and you guys need help, the PSD EdTech, palmdalesd.org/edtech will take you here. We're here to help. For you guys, our virtual meeting calendar is here. Don't think that because you're at Mesquite, you have to go talk to Steve, or you're at Joshua Hills and you have to go talk to Melissa. All four of us are available to you. So look for times, like here's my calendar. You'll see on here, there's today's or this morning's meeting, but you'll also see these open to help times. All you have to do is go to our calendar, click on that link right there, and it will take you in and it will ring us when we have someone there. So that way we can help you out. We want to make sure you guys are all helped. So if we're in with someone else, you may sit in the waiting room until we're ready for you. So this is a great site to know. palmdalesd.org/edtech. And then finally, let me close this one and this one. There's an Apple Teacher Learning Center. That's a great link to go to. You'll have to log in with your Apple account. So it's really important that if you're not sure what to do, or maybe during your off time, if you're not out looking at stuff from your PLN, to use the Apple Teacher Learning Center to go a little bit deeper and to know more, especially about this next app, which is my favorite app, especially when you want to connect with your kids. This one is called Clips. So let me pull up Clips. The reason I do this one at the very, 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 very end is that it kind of bogs things down because it is a video app. So let me just get everything closed so that way it doesn't bog down too much. So Clips is sort of like using your video recording software on your iPad. It'll go through a welcome video, including a lot of the stuff that you want to do. And when it's time, you can add in some stuff over you. There we go. Let me see. I'll do it's hard to do anything really interesting in a purple room. So over there, allow it to use my location. You can see how this bogs down real quickly. There we go. We'll add in day one. And you can resize that by pinching. And we'll put in a heart emoji. Oh, it's got to download it. There we go. We'll put that over there. So now I can record my video just by holding this button. So right now I'm recording. And it's doing everything right here. So if you want to connect with your kids, this is a great way. And when you're done, click on your video. And you'll see on the very, very last thing here, it says Save Clip. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to save it into my photo library. So now when I go to my photo library, there's some other videos I had done earlier. Uh-oh, did not go. Let me see. Try again. There we go. I didn't save it the way I wanted it to. Holding this button. So right now I'm recording. I'll figure out why it didn't save everything. It should have saved it exactly the way it is right here. Oh, there we go. Let me use that one. Let me save that video. Let me see if that'll work. I think this one will be the one because it's taken forever to do it. So while that's doing that, let me answer some questions. Let's see here. How do we get an Apple account through the district? You cannot get an Apple account through the district. You need to open up one on your own. Clips isn't installing. It immediately goes back to install. Try restarting your iPad, Brad. My Clips app will not open. What do? Try restarting your iPad after we're done. And then if it still does that, then we'll take a look at it. Let's see. All right, there we go. Now I've got the app. Holding this button. So right now I'm recording. And it's doing everything right here. So if you want to So yeah, the Clips app cannot be used on a laptop. It is for Apple devices only. So yeah, use your iPad for it. So if you really want to connect with your kids, send them a video like this. And I think that they'll really enjoy something fun like this, and tell them some good things. I'm sure they're aching to hear good things from you. This would be a great way to do that. All right. Any other questions? That was my end fun stuff. All right, let's see here. Holly, go for it.
That little clips video that you did, when you save that with the link, you can put it like on Class Dojo and then they can play it, or you can put it on Google Classroom. Like, what do you, once you save it and you have a link, what do you do with it?
That's a great question. Yeah, you can do either one. So let me I should have just kept it connected. So like even on photos, if I hit that up button, for me, it'll bring you here. Notice how Classroom is now down on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
So I can actually, I'm not going to do it because it'll take forever to load all my classrooms, but it'll bring it in and ask you which classroom, do you want it to be an announcement or an assignment, due date, points, all that stuff.
Okay, so it's kind of like sending a picture or a video clip to your family, like on Messenger or on Facebook or something like that, right?
You got it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's see. Another question came in. How long of a clip can you make? You know what, Cindy? I haven't been able to see like what the max is. I would say you're probably saved at like 30 seconds. I wouldn't go any farther than that, because that just means it's going to take longer for it to go wherever you want it to go. The longer the video, the more it is. So I wouldn't worry about, making it super long. So if you're out with your horses, it'd be a great thing to kind of do while you're riding them or while you're feeding them, just to do a quick 15-second, 30-second video with your Google Clips. Jackie, I hope you saw how to send it to the kids. So using the photo app, after you've saved it, send it out through Classroom, Class Dojo, whichever you want. That's a great question on how much memory. So if you go to Settings and you go to About, you have, let's see, it's a 32 gig, and right now I've got 25.12. See if I can highlight that. Now, well, let me highlight it. I have 25.12 gigabytes available. So I wouldn't that'll go pretty quickly. It's just a matter of how you manage it. Hopefully we'll be able to start deleting some stuff here as time goes on. Just to clarify, I don't need to reinstall apps that say reinstall. Correct. Hopefully they're already on your iPad. So remember to do that. Swipe down and search, and you'll be able to answer that. If your school one has 128, that's awesome. The one I'm using, it's only 32. But we use this one for a lot of our video recordings, so we don't need it to be that big. All right, some food for thought before we leave, and then I'm going to hang around and answer some questions. Let me stop sharing. There we go. So, there we go. We cannot become what we need to be by remaining what we are. So this is a whole new thing for all of us. You can see I've practiced this over and over the last 2 weeks, and I still get hiccups with working with people live on Zoom. So like I said at the very beginning, it's going to be messy. It's going to be dirty. You're going to be uncomfortable. We just need to be okay with that for right now. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and hang on for a few more minutes, probably about 15 more minutes. If you have questions, pop them in the chat. I might unmute you and have a conversation with you. But if you have any other questions, check out our calendar and let us know, and we'll help you out. Have a great day, guys. Let's see. Alan, the Eureka pages can't be typable. It would have to be, the best, well, the students almost would have to take a picture of it and put it in your Google Classroom. So you'd have to create it. Or you could do it in, bring it into Google Docs and then create Google Drawing text boxes over everything. Shoot me an email. Let me mull that one over. Carol, every morning I have a message on my iPad that I don't have enough room to update. You have a lot of stuff on that iPad. So you'll have to take a look at some stuff that you need to delete. On your iPad, it will tell you your most used apps and what your biggest ones are. Hang on for a little bit and I'll see if I can help you out. Christina, thank you. I appreciate it. Anything we can do to help. You're welcome, Kate. You're welcome, Jacqueline. You're welcome, Leah. Let's see here. Jennifer, absolutely. Let me unmute you. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Hi, Dan. I wanted to ask. I came a little bit late to the party on this,
That's okay.
but I was trying to pay attention as best I could.
Sure.
Could you explain it again on how to get our clips videos posted onto our Google Classroom?
Yeah, let me show you. That'd probably be easier, right?
Yes, please.
The hard thing for me is that I have and I kid you not, 120 classrooms. So whenever I try to push it in a classroom, the classroom app wants to quit on me. So when it quits on me, it makes me unhappy because I can't show you what you need to know. So let me get logged in here. There we go. Oops. There we go. So did you see the part where I put it into my photos?
Oh, you put it into the shared photos?
Right. So when I go to clips, so after I'm done, so here's the video I made.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. On the very, very bottom right-hand corner, see that box with the arrow pointing out of it? Not the one that's pointing down, but the one that's pointing up.
Yeah.
If I click on that, it's going to give me all my different choices. So I can either email it, I can put it in my photo album, I can put it into Google Classroom, or I can put it in my Drive. So if I go to Classroom, this is the part that bogs down because it tries to load all my classes and it won't work. But from here, it'll ask you which class do you want to put it in, and then it'll say, do you want it to be an announcement or do you want it to be an assignment? And then you can pick whichever one, and then it's like filling out an assignment in Google Classroom.
All right, so I'm looking at the share part, and it does not give me Google Classroom as an option. How do I fix that?
That's a great question. So if you go all the way to the right with the 3 dots that say more on the top, go ahead and click it, and you'll see a little toggle switch next to Classroom. Excuse me. So if you have Classroom installed on your iPad, you'll see that toggle switch in this menu.
So I need to install it like an app in order for it to show up as an option because it isn't showing up as an option. Okay, then.
You got it. And so if you have Drive, you could even put it in your Drive and it would do almost the same thing. So if I put it in my Drive right now, it'll ask me where to save it, and then you can put it into your Classroom that way as well. So you can see here it's asking me what I want to do with it. I just want to save it. And then I can assign it from my Google Drive.
All right. This question does not have anything to do with the iPad, but since we're talking about it,
Sure.
if I wanted to talk to my students through Google Hangouts, I'd also have to download the app equivalent on the iPad, right?
Correct. The Google Meet.
Oh, Google Meet. Thank you.
Yeah, you could use Zoom, which is what we're using now. I like Zoom. There's a little bit more features, but Google Meet is a little simpler. So, but either one will work. And then I think it's on Thursday. I'm doing I'm doing Zoom and I'm doing Google Meet. So you'll be able to see both.
All right. I've experienced both, and I like how Zoom is doing right now for us. But earlier, when I was in the other session with Jerry, it was not going too hot.
Gotcha. Okay. So
I guess that may be a matter of experience or having a good internet connection.
It might be both. What I would do is take a look whenever you have free time tomorrow. Take a look at our Google calendars that I showed you guys at the very end there, and let us know. Come into one of our open office times, and we'll do a Zoom one-on-one, and we can go over whatever you want to go over.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Have a good rest of the day.
You too.
Thanks. All right, Marjorie, what do you got?
So let me just clarify. I need
Sure.
to have all the apps that you mentioned on my iPad so that I could use my iPad as I would my desktop at home, at work.
Correct.
Okay, now, when I looked at all of when I went to that what was it called? Let me see. When I went to the, let me go back there. When I went to the self-service and I click on it, it does show Benchmark, it shows ClassLink, it shows Google Classroom, it shows Clips.
Right.
Mine all say reinstall. It shows Flipgrid.
Right.
Oh, wait. Yeah, the ones that you said were essential. ClassLink, Google Classroom, Google Slides, Google Drive, Google Meets. It looks like it shows all of them, but it says reinstall.
Right. So
So,
at some point, you might have had these apps on your iPad if they're not there anymore. So the worst that you would do is just hit the reinstall. So like, for example, I already know I've got ClassLink on my iPad, but if I click reinstall like I just do right now, all it's going to do is check for it, and then it'll clear it out once it's there. So now I can go there and see, yep, there it is. There's ClassLink.
okay, well, it is here.
Okay,
but
good.
It does say reinstall. So,
Good.
and I hit reinstall.
Okay.
So I don't know if it did what it was supposed to do because it still says reinstall.
If you close, that's what I'm saying. If you close self-service and see ClassLink on your desktop like I do.
Okay, close
Right.
self-service.
Yep.
Okay, I see classroom there. I see two classrooms. I see Drive.
Okay.
I don't know, BU, Benchmark,
Probably.
Uverse Library.
Right.
I see Meet and Zoom. I see Clips. Okay, so I
Yeah.
have them. Okay,
Yeah. So it's just telling you that they're on there somewhere or you've had them. So we need to recheck them and check it again.
okay, so I'm good because I have
All right.
them on there and I can start using them.
Sounds good. Yep. You're good to
Okay.
go.
Thank you so much. You have
You're
a good
very
evening.
welcome. My pleasure.
All righty.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Let's see here. Kim, I'm not sure what's going on. We'll have to take a look at it. Tammy, how do I go live on Google Classroom and save it? I'm not sure what you mean by live. We'll have to take a look at that. Melissa, is it true that we need to use our iPads only to do our recordings? No, if you have a desktop at home or your iPhone, you can use whatever combination you want. What the district's providing, though, is the iPad. Mr. Peterson, I'm not sure which Mr. Peterson that might be. You mentioned a video walking students how to sign into Google Classroom from home. Where can I find it? I didn't mention it for Classroom. I mentioned it for ClassLink. I have one for ClassLink. Shoot me an email and I'll give you the link. When I'm sending you an email on how to get access to Benchmark. Thank you. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Holly, let's see. I see your hand up. Let me get to you in a second, Holly. Yeah, if any of you guys ever have any questions, absolutely shoot me an email and we can create a way to talk. Melissa, where do we find Clips? You find that in self-service. You'll see Clips. It's on my second row there. How come I can't raise my hand? I don't know. So it might be because you're on your iPad. It's different on the iPad. Susanna, is it true that you can invite only up to 14 students on Google Meet? No, they've opened it up to, I think it's 150. Or maybe it's 100. I can't think off the top of my head what it might be. All right, Holly, I'm unmuting you. Go for it.
Okay, can you go back over the options and what you need so that I can link my iPad to my desktop and use it as the whiteboard? You know
So-
how you showed show me and you could write on it, but then
Okay.
it would show on your desktop so the kids could see what you were doing.
So like, for example, right, so the steps on it are a little bit different because I can't record my screen. However, with Show Me, what that does, so remember that record button I pointed to earlier?
Yeah.
That's right there.
Yes.
What that will do is it will record as you write. It won't let me do it because I'm showing you guys, so it locks it down. But what it will do is, so if I hit that record button right now everything that I would do would show up on the iPad as I write it, as if I'm writing it live.
Okay, but maybe I misunderstood. I thought a gentleman asked earlier about some kind of cable that I can connect my iPad to my desktop, and then if I'm doing a lesson through my desktop, like on Zoom or something, it would
Yeah.
show up.
So
How are you making yours show up?
So I'm using AirPlay, just like I would do in the classroom.
Okay, and
With
your
Zoom,
desktop has the Bluetooth that will link to it?
no. So let me go back here. Let me try to show you. Maybe I can take a picture of it real quick. Or here, I know what I'll do. Let me put my iPad back up. If you have your iPad on your network, I'll just go to the camera. So on Zoom, there we go. Can you see my desktop there? It's going to look like it's like 1,000 things. But let me pull up this button. So see this one right here? It says iPhone, iPad via AirPlay.
Yes.
The computer starts acting as if it's got the Air server on there.
Okay.
So you could do that. But if you can't and you want to use your iPad, you could get, it's what they call a lightning port, which is where you put the charger.
Okay.
And then it's a lightning port to HDMI or to VGA. That's the monitor part of it. And then you'd have to get all the hookup. I don't know that I would go that far. I would probably record it and then send it to the kids like I showed you.
Okay.
That would be difficult.
Okay. It's just with the younger kids, kinder through 2, sometimes when they ask us, like, we have to be able to, like, show them, like, right then.
I know.
If they don't get it later. But anyway,
Yeah,
I appreciate
but
that.
that should work. I mean, so take a look at, and when you get the Zoom app downloaded onto your computer, try doing that when you hit that share screen button.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
All right, any other questions from Wynn? I'm on my laptop, but it doesn't come up at the bottom of the screen like it has before. Is there a setting I missed or something I didn't click on? You know what, Wynn? I don't know. You could exit out, then go back in, but it just depends on, maybe it's just really overloaded. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. Maybe we'll take a look at it. Myra, you're welcome. Thank you, Wynn. I try really hard. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting. Let's hear from Carol. So do I just need to delete photos so my iCloud can back up each morning? Most likely, Carol, that's the case. All right, let me go back on my iPad again one more time. On your iPad, there's a spot that will show you how your memory is being held. So if I log in, let me get out of this, close all this stuff, it just bogs us down. So in settings, if I go to about, and then, no, I'm sorry, that's not it. It is, let me go to storage. There we go, storage, it's under general. So general, and then iPad storage. It'll list for you where all of your memory is being kept. So if photos are number 1, you might want to figure out something to do with all those photos. Maybe back them up to your Google Drive, put them somewhere. So it's hard to answer that question, but take a look at there and see really what's taking up all that space. I hope that answers your question. That one's a tough one to answer. And Carol, if you still can't figure it out, let me know and we'll set up a meeting. We'll do a Zoom meeting between the two of us and we'll take a look. All right, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting so that way I can start rendering the recording. And I think Steve said he'd have it done for tomorrow morning. So if you have any other questions, now's the time. Going once. I'm going to go really slow because I know there's a small delay. Going twice. Going 3 times. Kathy, you're most welcome. All right, guys, have a good day.